Ah, you see, I don't have a screaming goat that I know of. Not yet, anyway. How you doing, Mono? What's up, buddy? Yes, folks, you're not crazy. There's no camera today because I don't have enough available ports on the machine right now to plug the camera in. I know, it's a pathetic excuse, isn't it? Yeah. Popcorn's ready. Take me to Code Town. I'm going to take you to Visual Coding Town. Yeah, seriously. Because I'm using Unreal Engine today, which runs a lot better on a PC than it does on an M1 Mac. Because on an M1 Mac, it actually is running under Rosetta because it's Intel based. The editor is Intel based, which is not a great experience. So I'm running it on my Windows machine here, which is arguably just as powerful as my Mac, but has every port on the PC has a whole bunch of stuff plugged in. So it came down to plug the microphone in or plug the camera in, and I figured I'd get less hassle. Notice that I didn't say no hassle, but less hassle if I plug the microphone in. So I'm here, I promise. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. So what you been up to, Mono? How's it going, buddy? And for those of you that can see this here, now ditch the mic sign language time, which would be great if I knew sign language. And I'm almost certain the only sign language I know is the unofficially supported kind that does not involve many fingers. Oh yeah, and a thumb. I didn't think of that one. Oh geez. So yeah, that's where I'm at here today. What are we doing? Well, it's Wednesday, and I thought straight to the negative. Hey, you know what you're getting in for when you tune in. It's all I'm saying, right? Yeah, so we got Unreal running here. I have been having great success with porting my game over and learning Unreal Engine at the same time. You know your audience. Yeah, you know those developers, they're not known for being positive, folks, right? You can see the game running here, right? It's very ugly right now because, hey, I'm still trying to figure out if I could actually make the darn thing. But should we peek under the hood and look at some code? See what's going on here, explain how this is all working, because it's been fascinating to me. What's been very interesting is essentially throwing out a lot of things that I know and understand and saying to myself, no, don't try and adapt what you know. Learn to do it the Unreal Engine way. So that's what I've done here. And we're going to break down some of what I've done to explain it, because it's actually rather clever once you understand it. How do you create your assets? By drawing very simple buttons on the screen. Hey Cal, how you doing? I gotta teach you OBS, NDI, then you could have your camera on. Well, the problem is, I have lots of cameras, right? Not surprising, being that I'm a photographer as well, but I don't have anywhere to plug them in. So unless you're going to teach me how to solder some USB-C ports into my PC laptop, it won't make any difference. Actually, what I'm going to do, I just didn't have time today. I've got a CalDigit USB hub, USB-C hub, and I'm going to drag that out from my closet, plug that into my PC, which will give me enough ports to plug everything back in again. I just don't have that to hand right now. Now, let me address one thing, because this did come up one time. I'm actually tired. Work has been a nightmare. I feel you, buddy. Feel you. The CI keeps rejecting my pull request because some flaky tests from other teams crashed. It's always other teams, isn't it? You know? Yeah. I noticed that. But I feel your pain because I'm preparing to ship some stuff to production, and you know how that goes. You suddenly question life, the universe, and everything. So I'm right there with you. But yeah, by the time I do the next stream, network display interface. I ditched my capture card for it. Now my Mac screen, phone and camera streams over the network to Windows. Then Windows streams to Twitch. No cables. Ooh, look at you being all fancy. Well, see, my laptop here, my Windows laptop, does have a camera built in, but it's all pointing in the wrong direction. So you actually wouldn't see me even if I could turn on the built-in camera, but all you'd see is a very dark piece of wall because that's the direction it's pointing. Not great, right? But by the time by the time I stream next, I'll have the hub plugged in and everything could be super fantastic wow again, or at least like it was before. You be the judge. An elaborate mirror. I guess I could. I actually, that's, wait, didn't, yeah, I guess I could, but I don't know, that's a little creepy, isn't it? Yeah. See, I know I should have pulled the hub out. I knew that my understanding audience, they'll accept me. Always solving problems in a complex way. Let's take a look at what we got here. So I'm going to dive into this, right? Here's what I've got working, and I'll explain. Now, for those of you, let's be clear, right? For those of you who don't know, I've been working with Unreal Engine for about 2 weeks now, on and off, and was looking to solve the questions of, do I know what the hell I'm doing? So nothing here is pretty, nothing, but it's functional. It's probably not very well optimized, but we'll get into it. But also, I want to address Cal's question, creating the assets, because some observant folks noticed before, and they're quite right, the background in the game here actually is the code for the game. I know, right? And I did that as like a little Easter egg for folks, hoping that some kind soul would spot it and go, hey, that's cool. So, yeah, it is. Now, let's break this down a little bit, because this has been fascinating the way this works. But once I wrapped my head around it, it actually was kind of cool. So, first of all, this is an idle game with nothing but a UI, at least right now. So, as far as the game world, you can see there's nothing. Nothing to see here. Now move along, folks, because that's the way this works. Now, why is that? Well, turns out, right, the big stumbling block at the beginning was, how do I put a UI in an Unreal game and then make that work for me because it's the only part of the game? I learned the answer. The secret word here is widgets. Yeah, widgets. So if I go into, and I've got some folders down here, right? Basically, if I go into my widgets here and I pull up this one, suddenly it's a whole other scenario, right? This is the interface, the widget that gets loaded up on the screen. So this is where the controls are. We will come back to this. Let's take a look at the way some of this stuff breaks down, because like I say, it's really interesting, right? At the top level, we've got our Unreal Engine calls each thing in the game a level. So our main level, our starting game level, is this one right here, this blank screen. But if I open the level blueprint, now first question folks are going to ask who don't know what this is, what's a blueprint? And if you're not asking it, well, I'm going to tell you anyway. So a blueprint is the visual coding system in Unreal Engine. Now, you don't have to do it this way. You can write C++ if you want, but I wanted to make life real simple for myself, I'll be honest, because I'm trying to port over my game that some of you have been playing, my Project Hack game, right? projecthack.net. And see, I wanted to answer the question, can I make a game like that in Unreal Engine? Maybe later on I'll talk about why, because there has been some issues as to why I'm on this. Hey Nicholas, how you doing, buddy? We have no camera today, but we do have a microphone. So, yeah, it was a microphone or camera situation. I went with microphone. It's also easier on the eyes if I go with microphone. Not easier on the ears, though, I know. Dang that Texas accent, right? It happens. Nicholas, funny story. I'm on my PC with the Unreal Engine and I have run out of ports. So there was nowhere to plug the camera in. Even with, I already have a hub plugged in and that's full as well. I know. So getting back to this blueprint. Yeah, a blueprint is the visual code for the system that Unreal Engine uses. So this level blueprint, when you create a level, you get a blueprint. Think of that as the top level class instance for that particular level, right? So let's convert this because we're Swifters, right? So what does that mean? Well, essentially, this is a level blueprint is the Swift code behind a view, right? Think of it that way. Now, the way this works is, and we'll get into some of what this is here. I tried to make it look pretty. The way it works is this, right? So if I want to have some variables, and I'm going to try and convert this to Swift speak so that I can not totally alienate my audience, but to also understand why this is kind of cool, all right? Cal says, I used to program with LabVIEW, which uses graphical programming for things like sensors and some other stuff. Hated it a lot. I'm not good with these kind of tools. Interestingly, Cal, I never was either. And even in Unity, where I used a plugin to do some visual coding, I still preferred writing the C# under the hood. However, what I have come to appreciate is I would never write an app this way, I don't think, but I guess I can't say that for sure. But it sure dang makes life a lot quicker when you're making games because you can just get on with making the game, right? And hopefully keep the code as simple as possible. So I'm kind of in the 50-50 bucket, but when it comes down to serious stuff, yeah, I'm all about the code. But as you'll see with a lot of these things, it's very, this is kind of dealing with the visual stuff, and it's just quicker to hook them up this way and get it running. I'll get into it a bit more, but I know exactly where you're coming from. So we've got this level blueprint. Now, in this, is it possible to zoom in? I will, yes, as I get into this. I wanted to talk about, I don't know how big it is on your screen over here, but yeah, I'll zoom into this. That's as far as I can zoom, so hopefully that's readable. Unfortunately, my preview in OBS is small here for me because I got so many windows. But yeah, we're going to zoom in as I get into the code here. I just wanted to sort of show you that this is all the code, right? That's all the code for this level, and I'll explain how and why. We live in the future, yeah. Yeah, you betcha, zooming in, who knows, right? So we're going to get to this in a second, but what I want to do is start on the left here, right? So comparing this to, say, Swift, and like I say, think of this as your view controller, right? Think of it as that. You know, a kind of a top-level view controller. And so this is the place I wanted to put all of my game data because I want it to be accessible everywhere. Anything that happens in this view, right, this level, I want it to be accessible. So over here, for example, I've got a link to some visual widgets. I'll break this down, don't worry. But I've got some variables I've created. So we've got our, think of these as our you know, are bindables, right, in the Swift world. So I got a game UI. I've got an instance of the game class. I'll get to that in a second. Single player game. Here is the name and type of my game mode. I'll get into that. And then the HUD. The HUD is a built-in class that I've sort of extended, if you like, here for my widgets. Again, I'll break all these down, but putting those here and this little thing here, right, means that basically it's not exposed, it's not public. Yeah, let's make this hard. Yeah. So that's what's going on the left. On the right hand side is just all the properties for things. But let's zoom in here. So the way this works, right? And these are sort of some of the problems I had to solve and how I solved them. The one thing that I like a lot about Unreal Engine compared to Unity, loading and saving of data, persistent data, super easy compared to Unity. So begin play is like, think of that as the init of the game, right? Of this level, sorry, I should say. But we only have one level, right? So when it inits, first thing I do is say, okay, do I have a game save? And it's what's funny, folks. You redeemed the ban Google. You may have redeemed that a little early, but I didn't actually specify a time period for that. So I'm going to say you banned it for the whole stream. How about that? Well done. I was waiting to see if someone put those in there. Yeah. There's a ban Google and there's a ban Stack Overflow. I'm going to add some more, by the way. Yeah. Automatic message vlog. So first thing I do is I say, hey, is there a game save? And I do a branch, right, from a Boolean here. So if it's false, first thing I'm going to do is create an instance of my game mode class, right? And I get that from the game by returning it here and say, create a new instance of that. Create a new save game object. I'll get into what this is here in a minute over here. But here's some variables in my game. Take those variable values, right? Follow the lines here, folks. And I know this is laid out badly, but it was late. Set these variables in the game save object to the values of the game, and then save it. That's it. That's all I gotta do for saving a game instance. I missed CT. I saw CT's Cocotypes stream. Did I see one or two parts of it? I can't remember. But he made progress. It was working. So that's the good news. I'm hoping he's sleeping because, kudos to him for doing it every day. And I believe he's doing it again tomorrow. And he and I are going to be doing that live podcast recording on stream. So you can all try and distract us. So I hope he's getting his rest. He's going to need it. But that's all I need to do to save the game, right? So that's that. If a game save does exist when it fires up, if it's true, it's going to load it. It's going to load that data up, and then it's going to do the reverse. It's going to take the variable data from the game save. It's going to put that data into the game instance and set the variable values for me, right? So basically when I run the game, there you go. It's already loaded in that data and set those variables that'll be used for display. All right. That's how simple. I thought Mono, I know you're ready for that, buddy. Don't worry. It's going to happen. So that's how simple it is to do loading and saving of game data in Unreal. I mean, it's wonderfully simple, and it's encrypted, by the way, so you don't have to jump through hoops. So that's the begin play. That's the start the game, right? Now, this event tick. So a game has a loop, right? A game loop, essentially. And so that event tick is every loop of the game. I've got a sequence here. Do 0, then do 1. So for the first one, what it's going to do, it's going to, again, call out to my game instance. And then every 2 seconds right now, it's going to go get the newbie count. It's going to go get the newbie tick count. It's going to increase using this plus here, the newbie count, and then set that variable, right? And then because there's some other stuff I'll show you in a minute, because it sets that variable, you can see it here. That's why it's at counting up, right? It's adding 22 on every game tick. Now it's adding 23, right? That's what's going on there. So that's our game loop. And again, this is very unoptimized code right now, but I wanted to just, again, prove to myself that this could work. So after it's done that one, it does the next one. And the next one runs every 10 seconds. Every 10 seconds, it's going to save game data. So it's going to do the same as it does up here, right? It's going to get a reference to my game instance. It's going to create a new save game object. It's going to get those variable values, right? It's actually 4 of them. And it's going to set them in the game object and save it. So it automatically saves the game every 10 seconds so that if it crashes or whatever, your data's persisted to disk, and the worst case is you lose 10 seconds worth of time. All right, hopefully that makes sense to everybody. So this happens over and over and over and over and over and over again. But because of these delays, instead of it happening at the rate of this game the rate of the event tick, which will be really fast, right? Think about it, 30 frames per second, 60 frames per second, whatever. You don't want it playing that fast. So that's why I've got these delays that says, hey, you know what? Only do this thing every 10 seconds, all right? So it doesn't matter how many times it gets called, it's only going to do it every 10 seconds. Make sense, everybody? Am I making any sense here? I got to have a drink here. Hold on one second. I still keep looking at the camera even though it's not plugged in or turned on. Okay, so what are these here? These are custom events. And this is another one where it enables you to keep that view controller small, right? We don't have to put all of our code in here. And what do these do? Well, when anything in the game here can have a blueprint interface, which is exactly as we know interfaces to be in any programming language, right? Set of rules that says if you're going to implement this interface, you got to follow these rules. And the rules for each of these is only one because I've kept them simple. The rule is that there's a function. And the reason I've done that is you can do things because when you tell the engine, hey, go find everything that's implemented this interface and tell it this function here needs to run, right? Or this function needs to run. So it doesn't matter where it is in the code base. It's like a broadcast system, right? It's like a publish subscribe. Anything that has these interfaces implemented will execute it. So why would you do that? Well, firstly, I don't have to put a bunch of code in a huge view controller like we would not want to see in Swift or whatever. And it enables me to take objects anywhere in the game at any time and have them respond. So for example, right now, when I hit this button, plus higher array, it raises this event, which raises the newbie rate, right? So it's gonna go from 23 to 24, right? Because this fired. Now, why is this cool? Well, it's cool because if I want to have whatever, if I want to have this text up here, spin, change color, think of anything at all. If I want to have it happen in the future and I don't know about it now, I don't have to write any code for it. All I have to do is make sure whatever that thing is implements the interface. And when I hit this button, it's going to do its thing, right? That's why it's cool. Loosely coupled. In fact, it's not really coupled at all. It's only coupled to the interface. And what do those interfaces look like? You may be wondering. I'm going to show you. If I go in here to interfaces, that one that we just spoke about, right? Raise the newbie rate. Inside it is one function that does nothing. This one function, raise newbie rate. That's all I need. I doesn't need to have any code behind it or anything because that's what's happening over here. Now, that's how I've implemented this, right? So what happens here? Well, when it receives this event, it executes the function. What does the function do? Well, it gets the game instance, right? This single player game instance. It looks for the variable newbie tick count. It gets that value. It increments that value by 1, right? Newbie tick count plus 1. And then it sets its new value. That's it. And just like that, I've raised the game. The variable in the game has got its new value. The interface is going to update itself. Everything that uses, right, that variable is going to update itself, and I'll explain why in a second when we get there. And I want to talk about this one here, slightly more complicated, but again, when the game gets this custom event, it's going to fire it up, gets the game control, the essentially game controller, gets the script kiddie count, increases it by 1 because I'm hiring one, right? So it increases it by 1. It then says, okay, you know what? Because I know it's going to cost me the reduction of 10. I need to essentially get rid of 10 newbies to hire one script kiddie, right? So I'm going to do it real fast here, but if you watch this, right, you can see that it goes down by 10 every time, right? And script kiddies goes up. So it's going to get the count. It's going to reduce the newbie count by the cost for the script kiddie. That's the minus right here. And then set the newbie count. That's all it needs. That's all it needs for the logic for that to happen. It requires an awful lot more in Unity, folks. Let me tell you. If you've seen previous streams on the game development, yeah, dang is all we can say. So that's that. Let's go back and look at some of these other things here. So back over in these widgets, let's go to our main game widget here, right? So this is all the components laid out on the screen, all right? And feel free to ask questions if none of this is making sense or whatever. But everything's laid out on the screen here. And over here you can see it's just labels, right? Some of them are, like if I pick this one right here, set to say it's a variable. And what that does is creates a variable that I can reference, you'll see in a second, to this text box, right? So think of like us taking in Swift a, Swift UI text field, and we have that bindable or state variable. Really, in this case, it's bindable. It creates that for us just by checking that. So why do we want to do that? Well, if we look at the code behind, if we go to the graph and look at the visual code behind this widget view, you're going to notice a couple of things. Little more code going on here. But first thing you're going to notice is we got a couple of on-click events for the buttons, and we have an event tick as well, right? But also notice over here, we have the only public variable is this saved game data. It's a reference back to our saved game data so we can tap into it. It makes sense. I have a question, maybe unrelated. All right. Do you know if there's a way to test all this behavior? Do you mean like writing tests? Like writing UI tests? Because I don't know is the answer. I've not looked into that. But yes, okay, something like that. I assume there is, which is a terrible, I know that's not the way to look at this. I have not looked into that. I would say for certain, Cal, if this was, if we had done this in C++ instead of visually, yeah, obviously at that point, goes without saying that you could build tests. I am assuming there are tests for testing all this. I've not looked into it yet. I have only got as far as, ooh, it worked. But it's a very good question because I have to believe that for all of those AAA games and everything out there that uses Unreal Engine, there's got to be some kind of testing, right? Oh, you know. Oh, Mono, I think I demonstrate what happens every time, don't I? Just that's what I'm thinking. So we've got some variables here, right? Because that way I can reference them over here in the blueprint. So on the event tick, let's take this one. Yeah, exactly. We knew exactly where that one was going, especially the first part, right? You know, you're probably not so concerned about the second part, but I know that the first part happens a lot on this stream. So, excuse me. The event tick. Everything has an event tick, right? An event tick in the game. So, the event tick on the game, we run this every time. We get a ref. We say get our single player, cast something to a single player game type, which this took a little while for me to wrap my head around because I was like, why am I always having to cast things? And I know there's other ways. Just haven't got there. Surely there would be a way to test this event loop. I gotta believe there is, right? But then again, when you look at how so many games have terrible bugs, maybe they don't use it. But I gotta believe there's some kind of testing framework in here somewhere, for sure. So yeah, we say get something and cast it to a single player game instance type if you can. And we do that by saying, hey, get the current game instance, which there's always going to be one. Well, should be. And that's the value, right? And cast it. Now, when I cast it, it says, oh, I know about the game instance. So now I've got access to these variables that exist within it, right? In fact, you can see it highlight the lines there, right? So whoever writes tests, yeah, exactly. Who even writes tests? Yeah. Not on our own projects. That's the rule Coco Type lives by. I got to go along with it, except when he broke it, right? So we cast it, right? Then the follow the line. We go right over here, right, to the next part. And this next part sets the value of some text. So in this case, it's saying, hey, set the text of the label newbie hackers display count. Remember, we made it a variable. That's why it's over here, right? So set that variable or set the text in that text box to be the newbie count variable converted to a string, basically, and put that in the text box, right? And it does that, the same thing. It goes through and does that for each of the other variables. That's how we get our numbers on the screen. So that's all of that. And at the very end, and again, let me preface this because I know someone's going to say it. There's probably better ways to do all these things because I'm going to have a ton of this stuff. It needs to be in a loop with an array of variable names or something. But hey, this is like week number 2 of me learning Unreal Engine. So I'm all about, slapping it out on the screen to understand it before I optimize it to the point that I can't read my own code. So at the very end here, we say, hey, get that button, right? The button to hire the script kiddie. And we're going to toggle whether it's enabled or not based on this. If we have more newbies hired than we need, which is to hire a script kiddie, which in this case I've just put 10 in here. This would really need to be a variable. But okay, there we go. Oh wait, do we not get the? Are we not getting the audio for that? Easy money. If it's more than 10, if we've got more than 10 newbies hired, enable the button. Otherwise, it's going to be false, in which case the button will be disabled. Let me show you that, right? So oh geez, this is going to take a while. Hold on. I'm going to click like crazy here. I know. Didn't think this one through, did I? Hang on. I'm going to go back over here, run this, and I am going to have to... I want to get this below 10 because once it goes below 10, you'll see that the game it'll disable the button. But I want to prove it because otherwise you won't believe me. All right, this is going to take a while. Talk amongst yourselves. I should have done this at the beginning. So there would be far less. I know, I could raise it above 10. I could do that, but that would be cheating in my own game. Besides, we'll get that quickly, right? I do regret making the higher rate 25 at this point, though. Oh my god. Really? 5,000 to go. This is like every newbie ever on the internet, right? No. Keep going. Keep going, Peter. You can get this. You got this, buddy. You got this. I daren't stop now, because if I stop, it's going to go up. Yeah, this is the automated test. The automated test is probably you hearing me click the button like crazy on the mouse, right? So the automated test is you pay me to sit and click the button. Hey, Nicholas, how you doing, buddy? Yeah. It's $1 per click, by the way. Just saying. Yeah. So I guess that's not like clickbait. That's like click ka-ching, right? Well, yeah, once we get down to 2023, now we're going back in time. Yeah. This is the only way. Also, because I guess I could have just deleted the game save file had I have thought about that, but we've come this far. The target value is 10. Once we get below 10, the higher button should disable, right? So do you feel that tension building? Yeah. If I should go on a 10-hour hike or not. I think you got time. All right, here we go. So see how when we get below 10, I know, right, eventually. See how it disables the button automatically? And then when we're above 10, it re-enables it? I know, it seems a little anticlimactic after getting this far, but you get the idea, right? So that's what's going on there. The good news is, second time around, it won't take us so long. So that's what's going on there with this code right here, right? Let's look at this other code. So remember I was talking to you about blueprint interfaces and how we can say, hey, anything that is implementing this interface, we can tell it to respond. Well, this is how we do it, right? So when I click that raise newbie rate button, or the one that I clicked like 1 billion times to hire a script kiddie, it says, hey, get all actors with this interface, right? The blueprint interface, BPI hire script kiddie. Now, when it does that, so it's going to go through, it just automatically knows, of course, the engine knows who's implemented that interface. It's going to tell each of them to execute a loop body. And all we're doing here is passing through that array of actors, right? So it's just working through the array. It's just a for loop. It's what it is. You can see it right there for each loop. Same time as running an automated UI test on Xcode, I make coffee while it starts a new simulator. Yeah, really. I make coffee while it's preparing my watch for development. I drink a lot of coffee. Don't get me started. But all we're doing is saying, hey, that actor on the screen, that element that is subscribed to the interface, I want you to run the function, right? That's it. So to tell everything in the game to respond to that function, that is all I need right here. So what all of that's doing, those 4 blocks, is going back to the main game here, triggering it, which then triggers all of this other stuff, right? So do you see how beautifully clean that is, right? So all I got to do is anywhere, just pull this one up If it's implemented, it'll let me pull it up and attach whatever code I want. Whatever I want to have happen, I do it there. I don't have to remember where it is or hook it in or nothing. All I got to do is implement that interface, and the engine will take care of the rest for me and send the message to run the function. And you don't have to have one function. You can have as many as you want. I've kept it simple in the sense of, right, you know, I only need very simple functions here. So if I implement something else in the future, we'll do it in a second just for fun. That's how it's going to work, right? So that's basically what these do, right? Same thing here, right? So again, there's an event, you know, we just, wherever we've got that interface implemented, all I got to do is that, and I can start triggering whatever when that event happens. It's going to tell everything in the game with that interface, do your thing, right? Isn't that wonderfully simple? So what I'm really saying here is all of this and all of this is the entire code base for the game at this point. That's a hell of a lot less than it was in Unity, let me tell you. Yeah. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Buy Xcode doing Unity now. Unreal. Yeah, don't do Unity. No. What's this one all about? You're asking yourself. Well, this one, if anything, is not hooked up at the moment because I'm going to hook this up to some buttons and some keys. But it's another one, right? Get all actors that have implemented the toggle event logger display. If anyone's played the game, projecthack.net, you'll know what the event, random event logger is. And it displays it. And if it's displayed, it's going to hide it. Right? I was checking out one game engine to play around with once I finished the iOS MVP. Well, if it's Unity or very excited to play. Hey, Mono, you know it's available. That game is available for beta testing right now. Anybody, projecthack.net. Go sign up. Just saying. Although I know you've played it because I've totally taken on board your feedback. And everybody else's, I should say. Oh, a random Kotlin one. Is it Corgi? Is that how you pronounce it? Or was it French? Courgette. But if it's Unity or Unreal Engine, I can totally help you out at this point, Mono, because I'm confident you'll have questions, right? Because you got questions. I know you got questions, but I can help you out, and I would dearly love to do that. So this is the entire game right now. This is the code base for the game. There is the event log is a work in progress, but what this is another widget, right? So the way it works. So for example, let's go back here. Let's make this happen, right? If I go back to the designer right here, and I'm going to add a button to bring up the event log, and then you'll see what happens. But before I do that, I gotta go grab a drink. So, is there a Swift game engine or is it just Metal? No, mono, buddy. I totally forgot. I should have told you. If you want Sprite Kit and Scene Kit, but if you want to access our, Compile Swift Stream code base for the community game that we built and has been on a sleeper a long time, but you are more than welcome, buddy, to dive in there. It works and it runs. I'll give you access to that. Just remind me in the Discord and I'll make it happen. Yeah, gimme, right? But Scene Kit, so think of it this way. Sprite Kit is the one for 2D type games. Yeah, Nicholas, missed the game. Don't worry, Nicholas. I really need to bring that back. Don't think... yes, it's been abandoned for a long time, but it's really a case of, I wanted to ship this Project Hack, as you know. But we will bring that back, buddy. And then Scene Kit is really the one for 3D type stuff, right? So that's the two. You still play it? I still play it too. I got it on my phone. Yeah, it's great fun, right? So Sprite Kit is the one. Yeah, same. There you go. So Mono, don't let me forget, buddy. Hit me up in the Discord and I'll get you in that repo and you can pull it down, compile it and run it. And it's actually a great one to learn with too, because like I say, all the folks in the community here on the stream contributed in one way or another. But I gotta go grab me a drink. Yeah, wicked. Oh, you'll like it. It's fun. It's very straightforward. It's a top down shooter, and maybe let me think. Yeah. Stay hydrated. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I got to do. But yeah, Mono, hit me up in the Discord. All I need is your GitHub name, and I'll give you access to it, buddy. Yeah. All right, folks. I'm gonna be right back here in a second. So let me go hydrate. Grab something so I can hydrate. I will be right back. You know what that means. You know what time it is. All right, I am back. I got water and I got coffee. Yeah, we're gonna do this. All right, so let's add a button here. I'm gonna show you how all this works. Boop, boop, boop. So if I just create a really ugly button, I'm just gonna drag it on here, right? Here's a weird thing. When you drag a button on the screen like this, when you do it in, and I know I'm doing a lot of comparisons with Unity, but remember I'm building what I've already built here in Unity, right? But I noticed the buttons, when you drag them in, they don't have a label by default. I know, it's a bit weird. So I've got this button, right? And if I look down at the properties here, if I can go to the on clicked, right? Doink, there it is. So I got an on clicked for that button. And what I can do is I can just say, all right, I want you to run this. Show me the event log, right? That simple. Let's go back over here, compile it. Got to remember to compile it. Let's go over to our game and play it. When I click it, it's now loading up that widget. So that widget is in front of everything else. And then when I hit the close button, which is in that widget, closes it again, right? I mean, that's pretty darn easy, I would say. So that's how our code works here, right? It's just very straightforward. Love it. So I'm going to get rid of that button. Don't want that button there. Not really. If I go over to my graph, here's the funny part. Still got the code, but it ain't there. But yeah. All right. So that's how that works. So yeah, that's sort of a rundown of what I've discovered, what I've learned, and where I'm at. Now, the key things here are that I learned to save some of you the heartache if you choose to go this route and accept this mission is create a HUD class, right? So what are these classes? These blueprint classes, if I create a blueprint class, you have sort of the basic ones up here that you see everywhere. But if I go to like, let me think. So there's a game class, right? You're going to want a game class. That's our single player. And some UI ones. And the HUD one has a bunch of stuff built in. And basically just Unreal Engine saves us a lot of work. So if I open up, like, let's open up the single player one. All it does now, right now, is when it runs, it creates a new game instance with those variables. Remember those variables that I've got in the save game and load game? There they are, right there. That is the ones globally accessible in my game instance. Now, the odd part to me, that I'm still trying to get my head around is, where I fell foul of kind of trying to do things was I didn't, the save data, I didn't set any up. Nothing was happening. I'm like, well, what's the deal here? Well, so far to me, I guess it makes sense, but it feels a little unmanageable and it feels a bit wrong. But maybe it's just right and I'm just not used to it. I have replicated the same variables in the save data. Why? Because I get the variable values from the game instance when I create the save game object, populate them here, and then save them here, right? Same in reverse. They get loaded into here and then sent over to the game object. Because I got a feeling this, and it would make sense that this save game data object doesn't stick around forever. And if you think about it, you want to, think about when we're doing apps. You want to have a source of truth. Well, you don't really want to be messing with the stuff directly here in your save data, right? Makes sense to hand it off into the game instance. Let the game instance do whatever it's going to do. Think of the game instance as being our view model, right? Whatever it's going to do with it all. And then when you want to save it, grab that stuff and send it back over to the save data here, right? You don't want to have the risk of something being out of sync or something saving while it's trying to be changed and all of that nonsense. Think of it as like core data, right? Where we have our context, right? And then you make the changes and you save the context. Kind of like that, right? And if you think about it that way, it starts to make a lot more sense. But it just took me a while to wrap my head around it, because this saved game data here, blueprint type, obviously there's a lot of stuff under the hood I don't see, right? Like accessing the file system and everything else. So it makes sense that it's like, oh yeah, I should totally use that blueprint that's designed to do that, take care of all that stuff. For example, right, I have run this on my iPad. Zero issues as far as accessing the file system, in the sandbox and so on and so on. It all just does it under the hood for me. So once you start to think about it like that, makes a lot of sense. You can tell from the icons, right? This base game mode is a game mode. What's a game mode? Well, a game mode has a lot of stuff in it. And again, I'm not an expert, right? Let me start there. But I can set things. So for example, like the HUD class, I set it to the one that I built. Some of the other ones in here too, right? Game session, game state, and so on. So that the engine takes care of a lot of stuff. What's what? What is what, Mono? You came here for, I should put in the disclaimer. Don't come here for the expertise. No. Go to Mono's stream for that. Yeah, no pressure, but go to Mono for the expertise. Just saying. Flipping the pressure right back at you, buddy. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there like that, right? Whole bunch of other things too, but Each one is like a blueprint that has, think of it as think of them as base classes, right? And you extend them with whatever you need beyond the engine. Am I in the wrong place? Sounded legit all this time. Yeah, it's hey, as long as you believe it, that's all it takes, right? It's like a pyramid scheme. It's a pyramid scheme of hope. There's your highlight for this one. The stream is a pyramid scheme of hope. So yeah, that's basically what's going on here, right? So hopefully I've got all that out the way. Don't have to go it through again. I'm the crazy one. You're the crazy one for coming here. I didn't make you do it, but glad that you did. Yeah. By the way, everybody, let me just say right now, we are on a campaign to get Mono to 50 followers. So anyone that may be watching this now or in the future, how's that future working out for you? Just want to ask that. Come back into the past and tell us. But please follow Mono NZ, right? Let me give him a shout out here because not only is he a lot of fun, but we want to get all the pressure here. Did I do it right? I'm not sure if I did it. You got a shout out last night and picked up 9 followers. Excellent. Wait, I did a shout out. Did it not work? I'm not actually looking on the web browser. That would help. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves. If you're not already, keep talking amongst yourselves. Listen to those voices in your head. Just saying. Let's see. Did the shout out work? Let me try it again. I don't think... Oh, wait. Am I doing it right? You got 36. Awesome. It worked. Oh, thank you, Nicholas. That's great. I was meant to stream the last 2 nights. Yeah, you got to do it. Well, that would help. Yeah. just a thought. Doing that would certainly get you going in the right direction. Is my thinking. Don't hold me to it, but sounds like a plan, buddy. All right. Hang on, give me 1 second here. I clicked on a bunch of windows. That was not a good idea. All right. Asher was going to do the weekend. Hey, yeah, we should, the Texan crew, yeah. We should do the weekend and we can hand off to you. Yeah, how about that? We'll come raid you. Yeah, and your house. We'll raid you and the house. How about that? Yeah. All right, so let's do something here. Let's go back to the designer. So, good luck, it's a mess. No, we were going to raid it and clean it for you. How does that sound? Yeah. But we'll only do it, if you get 50 followers. Because if you get 50 followers, it's worth the price of the plane ticket to fly out to you. Too busy swifting to clean. That's got to be another t-shirt right there, right? Yeah. Or too busy swifting to compile. All right, let's do this. So I want to add the next one here. So in the game as it is at the moment, and I should just do it, shouldn't I? For those of you wondering, hang on. The game actually does exist, the Unity version right now. You go there, sign up for be a beta tester. I'll be only too happy to add you. All I ask is you give me feedback because I'm going to make this game awesome. And by the way, multiplayer stuff is a lot easier in Unreal than it is in Unity so far for me. Should clean while Xcode is doing its thing. Oh yeah, you could build a house while Xcode's compiling. Yeah, house will be spotless in no time. Absolutely. And once those fans kick in on the Mac, It'll help blow the dust around. Yeah. At least it does on my desk. All right, so we're going to add another button here. What we want to do is implement the next button. So I want another button here to hire professionals. Now, to hire a professional, I need at least 100 script kiddies. That's how this is going to work. So gold, there you go, gold. So we're going to do this from scratch because it does not exist right now. So here's where things are gonna go, and hopefully I don't screw this up. So in the main game, single player game instance, let's add our variables. First thing we're gonna add is the professional count, right? And for now, I need to make this better eventually, but integer 64 while I get the engine running. But we will, I forget who it was, but someone dropped by the chat room in a previous stream and suggested the big int, the 256. Going to look at that as well. Again, this is a proof of concept to say Peter's not a complete idiot. He's just a slight idiot, but he can probably do this. Yeah. And we also need to know professional. Professional. Come on, rename. Thank you. Cost, right? Integer 64. So I need to compile it to access those variables, and I'm going to say, all right, it's going to cost me 100, right? So to get one professional, I got 0 right now. I'm going to need 100 script kiddies. All right, and for anyone that builds idle games, I'm pretty much showing you how to build one here. Just pointing that out, right? In Unreal Engine. So there it is in our game, right? But we need to have this in the save game as well. So professional count, professional cost, right? Let's go to our save game here. Because if I don't put them here, they're not going to save. And that would not be good. Professional count, professional cost, 64. All right. It really doesn't matter. These values can all be 0. It's fine because they get overwritten when I gather the data up to save it. Is a professional a certified ethical hacker or black hat hacker, aka cracker? It's a professional certified ethical hacker that went rogue. How about that? It's the professional is a Coco type. So, if he's asleep right now, his ears just caught on fire. But he's a gray hat. Yeah, he's a gray hat. That's right. Yeah, gray baseball cap hacker. He washed the cap too many times. All right, so we've got that there. Let's get rid of this now, and we don't need to do anything there. Actually, sorry, you know what we do need to do is make them public. Let me go back because I need to be able to access them in other places. All right, there we go. Now, with that done, first thing first, before we forget, we're going to go in here. Oh, this is going to get even more ugly. We're going to update our create load save game so that those, if the game save doesn't exist, it'll create one. And again, we need to add these new values so that they appear in the game save, right? But the cool thing is, because of what we just did, if I drag this out here, let go. If I start typing professional, you can see they're already here, the gets and the sets, right? So we're going to get the professional cost. We're going to get the professional count, and I've got them here. And yeah, again, like I said, this code's getting real ugly real fast. We're going to make this a whole lot better, don't worry. Once I got this, and I'm convinced that I'm not screwing it up, we will convert a lot of this probably to a more efficient system and tuck it in a nice function somewhere, because we don't need to see all this. Once it's written, it's written. Okay. I'm going to move this out here because we're going to put some extra bits in between. But let's go here. So this one here is our game instance, right? And sorry, this one is our save object. This is our game instance. This is our save object. So for our save object now, I want to set the professional cost. And I want to set professional count. Does it, Mono, does it sound a little bit more like I know what I'm talking about here? Please say yes. And I'm just going to plug in those values, right? Professional cost, professional count, like so. Let's just bring these up here. I'm going to disconnect this one, put them in the chain, like so. And so that is now done. That is it. That is all we need to do to save those values in our save game there. For essentially a new player. Sounds very professional. Thank you. Great. As long as we believe, right? Now, problem is, at the moment, it's not going to be doing it when we load them, right? Let's take care of that. But actually, before we do that, since we already have a game save file, because I've been playing the game, let's do the next thing here, which is the automatic game save. So let's make sure that the data is getting data, whatever, getting saved. And basically we're going to do the same thing, right? So I know before everyone says it, replication of code, that's not dry. Well, it will be once I'm convinced that I'm actually heading down the right path. So we're going to get the professional cost. We're going to get the professional count. We're going to set them. I'm just going to put them here in the save object. We are going to disconnect that there. Let's just put those up here like so. We're going to hook these into the flow. Great. They need the values. Professional cost can go there. Quick little tip. If you double click there and now hold down the control key on Windows, I can drag that to make my line a lot easier to see, right? And do the same one here. There you go. Kind of reminds me of the London Underground. You fixed your issue. Oh, you did. Fixed your issue with the image flicker from yesterday, and it was not what anyone suspected. Mono, you must tell us what it was. We got to know now. Yeah, because I want to know. Can this items or flows... hold on. Can this items or flows, I don't know how to call them, be reused? Yes, they can. I have purely done it this way to understand and learn the logic of what's going on here. There is no reason why I couldn't use all of these again, or all of these again. Just like you can see there's multiple lines coming out of this one. I've just separated the concerns here because I'm expecting to fully rip out everything in this red panel into one place, everything in this yellow panel to another place. But they absolutely could be reused, yes. It was weird because it only happened in one group of products. The other, oh, really? Okay, so it wasn't global then. So Mono, what was it? All right, the screen with the issue had product images that were massive. So it wasn't being saved to cache. It was a data error. Got my workmate to make them a legit sized. Oh, okay. And the issue went away. So actually, the theory was right then. It was downloading them every time because they were too big to store in the cache. Did I understand what you put there correctly? Yeah, well done, Mono. Well done, buddy. See, didn't I say you'd figure it out? I knew you'd figure it out. And if nobody knows what we're talking about, check out Cocoa Type's stream from yesterday, I think, right, Mono? Where we discuss it at length in the chat there to help him work through the problem. Took me like 5 hours to figure that out, and not even an app issue. Don't worry, buddy. Believe me. Like with this here, I know it makes it look like I'm like, oh, he's cool. He knows how to do this. You don't want to know the amount of hours I spent trying to figure this shit out. So, it's that thing that we all say as developers, right? It looks very easy when we explain it because we did the very hard part for years and hours in the background to make it sound simple. So, well done, buddy. Well done indeed. And again, another reason everyone needs to check out, just follow Mono NZ, subscribe to him, and check out his stream. Because, I'd love to know. It may make me, make me feel better. Yeah, excellent. Sounds like me dealing with CocoaPods issues. Nicholas, don't even get me started on that. Me and CocoaPods, whew. Swift Package Manager, best damn thing ever invented. Not because I hate CocoaPods, but I can't tell you the amount of times when different people on the teams I work on have compiled and got different results because without realizing it, someone put in the CocoaPods file. They didn't specify a particular version. They're like, just go get the latest, right? Which is great if you go get the latest. But if you don't, guess what? Doesn't work. So, Nicholas, I'm right there with you, buddy. I feel your pain. Tip to everybody, regardless of what platform. 100 messages today. Look at that. Always yes. That was the tip I was going to give. Mono NZ, right there, buddy. Burned way too many times. Always specify a version. It does not matter what it is. CocoaPods or NPM or Swift Package Manager, any package management of your choice and usage, specify a version. Here's another good reason. If someone releases a new version with malicious code or it's broken, you are screwed. But if you specify a specific version, you have totally controlled the situation and you don't get hit by it until you tell it to upgrade. Hate seeing web devs never do strict dependencies. Right there with you. Yeah. Works on local, don't care, bro. Prod is boned. I know. That and you know what, Mono? I'm not going to get on a soapbox here. That to me is another one of those things of the difference between I'm going to take flack for it. I don't care. A professional developer and someone who just writes code. Right? A professional developer / engineer cares what happens to everything. Yeah, Script Kitty. Don't hire them. Don't hire them for 10 newbies. No, seriously. Right? That is the difference. That thinking right there about that. Nicholas, 100. There you go. That thinking, that caring about the scenario for other team members, people in the future, yourself in the future, and the safety and reliability of the products you build, that's what separates a professional from, I'm just going to make some shit, right? I'm just saying. I know people are going to disagree with that. That's fine. I respect that. But anyone who's ever been burned by these things, like Mono just said, right? That's it right there. I do not like wild cards. Wild cards are just an invitation for trouble. That's another highlight right there. They'll disagree until it happens to them. Yes, and how do I know this? I was that guy. I'm going to tell you right now. Years and years and years ago, back when the world was young, I know, and we used dinosaurs as our package managers. We'd put them on the back of the dinosaur, drag them across the plains. Yes, we've all been there. And everyone, when you give them the advice these days, it's like kids, isn't it? Like, don't put your hand in the fire. Yeah, whatever. Hey, my hand hurts. They won't listen to you until it happens. But if you're in a position to set the rules, do it. And they will thank you later on for it. They will give you shit now, and then later on, they'll come back to you and say, you know what? You were right. How do I know? Happened to me so many times. Just saying. Putting my engineering manager hat on there for a second. All right, lecture's over. Okay, so they're in there, they get saved, they get set. Everything is now being saved. If I run it, there's nothing to see here right now, but you're going to take my word for it. It's going to be saved in the background. AutoMod doesn't like that word. Oh, wait, what word? Hang on, what did I miss? Did you say it sucks or something? That's why I think there should always be a senior that guides the juniors, a mentor to help them understand the whys. Cal, you are 1000% correct. I should probably just do like a compiled Swift podcast episode where you can all dial in and share your thoughts on this, because it's so true, right? That's also why I greatly believe in mentorship. And funny enough, I think everybody I've ever interviewed on any of my podcasts, regardless of what the topic is. I did an interview the other day with a gentleman by the name of Joshua Green about business and starting businesses and everything else. And we were talking about this on there. And you can find it. Go to peterwhitham.com. You'll find it there. And again, topic came around mentorship, right? You people are only, well, I was going to say they'll only get better. That's not true. People will get better if you help them, right? And pay it back. Part of the reason I do the, and I know I've said this, but I keep saying it to impress it on everybody. Part of the reason I do the podcasts, my blog posts, the videos, this stream, to give back to all the communities that helped me become as good or as bad as I am now. And that's what I want to do, to give back to people, to say, you know what, you got this, right? And if you don't got this, I'm going to try and help get you back to make sure you got this. Yeah. Yeah, mentoring is so rewarding. It truly is. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Sometimes mentoring can just be listening to people tell you why Swift UI sucks. Just saying. Not that we've ever been there, any of us, right? Yeah. Uh-huh. I'm streaming because of you, Coco, and Nutter. Well, Mono, I'm sorry. Mentoring doesn't always work out. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Yes, I'll pick on Mono for a second here, but he does exactly in my mind the right thing. The thing that I hope everybody, whoever needs it, comes to my chat room on a live stream and says, "Hey, I got a question." Because whatever that question is, I'm not going to judge you for it. Whether it's you know me, I love introducing new folks to development. And so I don't care what the question is, whether it's a simple thing or a complicated thing. I will try and help you the best I can. And you need help with your taxes, I'll send you some money. How about that? Does that help? I got a whole $1 I can send you. And by the way, I'm still looking at the camera, even though it's not turned on. Sold. All he needs is 3,000 other people to send him $1 and he's solved his problem. But seriously, come to the chat rooms. Come to our Discord. I don't think I have the link on this box. Let me look. Maybe I do. Thought I did. No, I can't say I do. Come to our Discord. You can find it on compileswift.com. There's a link there. Ask questions. We love helping folks, right? And by the way, here's Mono's stream. I should mention. There's Mono's stream, right? There's Coco type stream. There's Notify's stream. All three of those folks are and I'm not just saying this. All three of these folks on those streams, subscribe and follow them. They are fantastic. They will always try to help anybody with whatever the question is. So please, please, please follow them, right? I can't speak for them, but for me, the payback for doing this stream is when I get messages from folks that says you helped me out, right? That is such a huge reward. And, those 3 streams right there, hey, most of the folks in this chat room right now are in those chat rooms as well. So it's a community we got going on there, and we love to help each other out. We love to also, part of mentorship is motivating folks when something doesn't work and sucks really badly. And every single one of us on our live streams has done that in public. But thanks to everybody in the chat room, we get through it. Or we at least make it look like we did. So, Cal, Mono, thank you for bringing that topic up. To me, I know I soapbox about this every time, but it is so important, right? So important to help. You think about software and what it drives. It drives, let's be honest, it runs the world, right? So don't you want to run the world in a good way, which means contributing to try and, who knows who you're helping, the next person that does some amazing thing, right? My app would be nowhere near this development without me, without yours. Well, okay, I mean, it's good. At least he knows who to blame. Actually, he's underselling himself. Let me tell you, folks. Mono's app, Mono, please put a link to your app in the chat. Mono's app is awesome. And I'm not just saying that. Even if I didn't know who he was, I would still be saying, you got to check this app out. It is beautifully designed and just great. And looks like a lot of fun. Yep, there you go. Fanslineup.com. Go check it out, folks. Go check it out. And the bonus here is, and I hate, I'm going to embarrass him, but and for all the shit that he gives me, but Mono's also a really awesome guy. And so there you go. Yep. Luckily, in our chat rooms, everybody's awesome. That's what makes these streams. That's why I look forward to these streams, and that's what makes them a lot of fun. Anyway, so we've got all of our save going on here. Let's update our load, right? Because see what's happening right now? You're just going to have to take my word for it that it's saving the professionals' data in the background, because it's not uploading, it's not loading it, and it's not updating the UI. We are now going to complete the picture here. But I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about mentorship because it's fantastic. And I also want to say the past couple of days, I found a whole bunch of new streamers as one stream ends and another one, they raid into someone else. And the one common thread between them all, apart from being awesome people, is the discussions around mentorship. In particular, I want to give a shout out, another one for you to check out if you haven't already. I don't have a link for it yet, but there's one called Dollar Dojo, and I think he may actually be streaming right now. That's another one where they're hot on mentorship and support. So yeah. All right, let's update the loading here. So what do we need to do? Two things. Firstly, we need to load the data. Secondly, we then need to update the UI. So right now, this is where things are going to get a little stretchy. So forgive the mess, but I think you'll be familiar with the pattern by now. We're going to get the professional cost just like we did, right? So we're getting this from our saved data object here, right? We're going to get those values. You watched him too. He's great. Yeah, Mono. He is great. Yeah. Well, Wes is the gentleman's name. And I was watching him last night for a few hours. He was doing some React work. And it was great. Yeah. Is that Demo Pro? What? I don't understand. Demo Pro? I've been watching a new streamer in Unity work on a great little Metroid Zelda style game. Ooh, I like the sound of that. Mono, please share them, because I love the sound of that. I definitely want to find some more Unity folks. And as I get more into my game stuff, I need to find some other streamers to inspire. Thank you. Melted Monster Games. Let me, hang on, I got to pick that. You just saw an arrow. Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. I need to go follow. Followed. There you go. Thank you, Mono. I'll be sure to tell him when I see him that you sent me that way. You just saw an arrow, or do I need to sleep? No, you probably saw an arrow. But yes, you probably need to sleep. Hang on. When you say arrow, do you mean from here? Place a new node, is that the arrow? Or do you mean the arrows that come off of these? It's going to be one of those. Maybe. That. Oh, these. These here. These are the values of those variables coming out there. Does that make sense, right? So, for example, if I drag... Here's another tip, right? And this applies if you're doing visual coding in Unity or Unreal. If you're never quite sure if you've got something right, one thing that I've got in the habit of doing, if you drag off of a node, what it's going to give you is only the options of what you can do with what you're dragging out. So if you, for example, try to get a variable that, like if I try here and say get P or get pro, right? I can't get my, see there's no get professionals variable here because it doesn't exist in that context, right? But it does exist in the context of it existing over here. So that's a really good way of, checking, like, am I crazy? Or did I not hook something up right? So, for example, right, if I take this one off of here, I'm going to drag this one out. Remember, follow the chain. This is our game instance, our single player game. If I just drag that out here and start typing set P and scroll down, you can see, it's only going to give me what's available, right? Hopefully this is making sense. And the ones I want here is from my single player game class, set professional cost. So that's how I know if I've got everything set up right, because it wouldn't exist there if I hadn't hooked in all the right things, right? Set professional count. So again, professional cost goes in here. Professional count goes in here. There is an exception though. On this one, got to remember, you got to set the target. So the target is our single player is the target, right? So you can see, like, I'm starting to screw myself here. But again, this is horrible design right here. But it's going to get them, it's going to set them, and that should be all we need to set the values. But if I run that, if I compile that and I run it, yeah, still ain't going to see nothing. I'll stop being a distraction in chat. You are never a distraction in chat. Nobody is ever a distraction. Well, maybe Coco type. I think we could all agree on that, right? What are you building today? What's the goal? The goal is, I have no idea. What am I building? I have no idea. Starting to look like my lab view diagram. So confusing. Yes, if you allow them to get uncontrolled, that is exactly what happens. This is nothing, Cal. I think you saw my one in Unity that was a nightmare, right? But here's the thing. None of this in the final architecture of this will exist here. It just will be a function somewhere. It'll be abstracted away because I don't believe for 1 second listing these variables like this is the way to go, right? And I am very confident based on what I know so far, I could just create an array of all of these variables and loop through it automatically. And that will, I recognize this. And by making that array of variables and looping through them all, it's going to kill off probably all of that right there. And that's going to be the end goal, right? So we've set our variables, right? They get loaded and they get saved, but nothing happens on the UI because this is set up as a variable, label professionals display count, but nothing's powering it, right? It's just static text right now. Now, I will say to those of you who are familiar with Unreal, yes, you're quite right before you say it. What I really should do is a binding for this, not what I'm about to do. But again, I only just read about that last night, so I've not had the chance to play around with it. But let's go to our graph, right? So on our graph here, Remember, this event tick is the game tick. And we want to make sure that that variable, the display, gets updated every time that it should. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this button code, enabling code, to the end, right over there. And we're going to do two things. We're going to say, all right, well, actually, we're only going to do one thing. I'm going to grab this label professionals display count. If I just drag it off over here, I can get it, right? I'm doing a get. So I'm getting a reference to that object. So got that there. Again, this should make a lot of sense to folks from a programming background, right? Getters and setters, they're just visuals getters and setters. By the way, if you're curious, if I hold down the Alt key, and because you may have noticed, you may be wondering, right? If I do this, the set is not enabled. What I need to do for that, so you don't accidentally do it, hold down the Alt key, drag it off, and it'll let me set it. But I don't need that here, right? That's not something you want to do, because we just need a reference to that display object. I'm going to save myself some time. I'm going to copy and paste this one here, and I'm going to say, all right, let's disconnect from here. I'm holding the Alt key and clicking. We're going to add this new block into the flow and then drag that over there, right? So let's try and keep this somewhat tidy. Here's my reference to that display. I'm going to set, that is the target. The target is that display. What do I want the text to be? Well, I could put in here, hello there, as hard-coded text and run it, right? Hello there. I know. Who knew that would happen? Everybody did. But that's not what we want. We want it from a variable, right? So again, what we're going to do here is we are going to say, all right, you know what? Let's do like we did. Go back to our game class that has all the data for our game. We're going to get the professional count. I'm just going to put it there. And I'm going to connect that. So we're going to get the value and we're going to connect it in there. But I'm actually going to do one extra thing. Unreal's really good at figuring out a lot of this, but I'm going to do, this will be familiar again, convert that integer 64 to a string. Why do I want that? Because that will make it nicely presentable, right? So it's 1,000 with a comma, 1,000,000, so on. Makes sense to everybody? Now I'm going to plug that value into the text, right? Let's now just bring this back over here a bit. Ooh, sorry. Let's bring that back over there like that. Okay. Now when we run it, if Peter has not completely screwed this up, we should see our value loaded for professionals, which will be 0 right now, and displayed. Hey, look at that. 0. What we now need is, yeah, you knew where this was going, a button to hire professionals. And it'll start updating their value. But see what I did there? So we're saving professionals value, we're loading the professionals value, and we are now setting it visually. That is something you're going to do 1,000,000 times, right? That is a prime candidate right there. All of this logic is a prime candidate. Look at it. It's the same over and over for a blueprint macro or function or something like that, right? When it comes to optimizing the code and making things better, obviously that's the way you want to go. But you can see we've updated very easily our display, and we have the loading and the saving of the values, right? So that is it, right? We've now added this new one. Like I say, if we add the higher button, like I could force this. Let's say if I go back over to my, I'm gonna cheat. Shh, don't tell anyone. It's my game. I can do it. If I go over to my game class, I'm not going to do the save data. If I go over to my single player game, right, the active instance of the game, and I'm going to set this professional count to 10, run it, give it a second. Oh, actually, wait, did I do it in the wrong place? I may have done it in the wrong place. I may have set it up so I can't actually cheat myself. Well, that stinks. Right. Hey, Cal, thank you so much, buddy, for coming by, hanging out, and asking awesome questions as always. Have a wonderful rest of your night, whatever's left of it, and we will speak to you next time. Take care, and you should definitely go sleep now. Yeah. Thanks, Cal. Take care. Appreciate you as always. All right, let's implement this. Should we implement this? Let's vote on this. I vote yes. Let's add the button. Let's complete the picture so that when Peter comes to this tomorrow, he doesn't have to remember what was he doing, right? Because that happens. So let's do this. But we're gonna do it. We're gonna make it happen. I'm just gonna copy and paste that button. It's fine. I can do that. Whoops. I'm not gonna do it like that. Hang on. Hang on. Oh, you know what? Hang on. Sorry, I forgot. It puts them. Don't know why. Puts it up here, over there. There it is. All right. Let's just line that up there. Need to rename it. So this is going to be the button to hire a professional. All right. Right now, it's not going to have any code. Well, that's what we expect. Let's add the on-clicked event. That's going to kick me over to my blueprint. Right? We've actually got the code we can use right here. Right? So, hire script kitty. We're going to write a blueprint interface, folks. That's what we're going to do. So, here we go. We can actually take most of that and we will copy it and just paste it in place, because the only thing that's really changing here is the event. But here's the but on this. You absolutely remember what I said earlier about you got to make sure you implement the interface. Otherwise, nothing going to happen. So we need to go to our class settings. But the observant of you will realize, and I did it intentionally, there's no blueprint interface yet. Let's make one, right? So here we are. I'm going to create a blueprint interface. We will call this BPI, blueprint interface underscore, because that's the naming convention apparently. We will call this one hire professional because we want it to be very readable. If I open that up, it's going to have this empty function, right? If I don't change this name, it's going to be called, I know, shocking, new function. So here's what I need to do. I'm going to drag that off of there, put that tab in there. I'm going to go back over here. And this is something I did and I couldn't figure out how on earth I did it. It's like it went away and I don't know how to get it back. But I do know. I did know. Somewhere. What's the name of the function? Yeah, see, this is one of those things where you're like, oh yeah, when I accidentally close a thing, how do I get it back, right? This is the one I want though, so let's just name it this. I think we're gonna call this. Hang on, I really want to get this right. The function is called hire the script kitty. BPI hire script kitty. The event is hire script kitty. Can I by any chance click? Oh, look at that. I can click that. Okay, hire script kitty. I know, right? Dang, look at that. All right, so we're going to call this one hire professional. Right, it's going to put the space in for me. Now, we're going to compile this. What'd I do? You don't want to rename yourself now? Is that what's happening? Oh, here it is. Sorry, new function. That must have been a glitch. All right, rename. Oh, I was searching. What a moron. See? Told you, don't listen to me. Yeah. Hire professional. And it'll put the space in for me, right? Compile this. It's super important you compile. Otherwise, it won't know, the IntelliSense, if you like, won't know, oh yeah, that's a thing somewhere else, right? Super important. How do I know this? Because I wasted hours trying to figure out why I couldn't find it. There you go. Newbie mistake right there. Okay, so back over here. Don't need this. If I go back into... Hold on. I'm on the wrong one. Here it is. On-clicked button, hire professional. Let me take all... I'm going to take the first two. And I'm just going to copy them and paste them here. Right? Again, we're going to say anything that's implemented this interface needs to be told run your function. All right? So we need the BPI hire professional, the blueprint interface we just created. So any actor with that interface gets added to the array and then loop through that array and tell them, hold on, hire, we want to send a message, right? Hire professional message is the message we want to send. How do I know it's a message? Well, it's got a little email envelope, right? That's it. And add it to the flow. That is all we need to do here. That is all we need to hook up that button to make it do stuff. Now, what stuff do we want it to do? Okay, well, let's take a look at that. Remember, this WPP, this is our interface. We don't want to be coding logic in our interface. We just want to be telling it, go do stuff. And we want other stuff to respond. Remember, we want our main game to respond here, right? So let's just make sure as I'm saying it, it's not that one. No, not that one. Okay, great. Want to make sure I got it. What I want to find is where I put the darn thing. There it is. Okay, so sorry, that's the widget one. Over here in main game, does not use the interface yet. So how do I do that? I open up the class settings. This is just the visual way, folks. If you do like Swift or any kind of, Xcode way, right? You know how you add the class to say, hey, I'm gonna be using this interface as well, and I need to comply to it, just like you would with a protocol or something. Same deal, right? So under the interfaces here, I'm gonna add BPI. Let's find it. The hire professional. That's now added. If I compile it, I'll now have access to it. So now that I've got this one here, right, you might be thinking, oh, drag it off. No, because look, this function was not marked as a blueprint callable. That's not the way you want to do it. That's going to hook it up to something, right? We are going to have an event here. If I look for hire professional, see these events? Right, add the event hire professional. Remember, that's the one we created. Hope you're all keeping up with this. Here it is, right? So now it's going to receive this event and do something. How do I know this? Well, let's just do a print statement, right? Professional event. Okay, if I run this, I'm going to compile it and run it here so you can see it. Up in this top corner, you can't really see it because of the logo. Hold on. Let me move this game title out the way. Oh, I locked it because that's what I do. Let me move this over there so you can see it. Right, compile it, run it again. Okay, see this text up in the corner here? Hopefully the answer is yes. When I hit the button here, you actually want that professionals button to show here. Now, what I need to do before I go any further is, it's actually disabled because this one's disabled because you want it disabled by default, right? So I'm actually going to enable it here for a second so I can show you. When I click it, see the event triggering up here in the top left corner? Every time I click it, right? That's your event system working right there, okay? Let's disable this button because, again, it should not be enabled by default because we don't know the condition yet to say, can I enable that interface button? Give me a second. All right, that's a bit better. Not much better. There we go. Took a drink. Okay. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. So now that we've got this, we've got our button hooked up over here. But of course, when we go look, you know, our code's just printing the string. Don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this here. I'm going to say, hey, you know, this is of type is what that is. This is of type single player game, right? And because it's that, I need an object. I need to say, hey, what's of type? Well, I'm going to use the get game instance, which already exists because every game has an instance. If it didn't, the game wouldn't be running. And I'm going to say, take my current game, cast that to the type of single player game. All right, it's going to say. Well, what do you want to do about that? Well, I want to get the professional let me make sure I got this right. Hold on. Yep. I actually want to set. So I want to set the professional count. Actually, yeah, let's put that over there. We'll come back to that one. Let me disconnect that. First thing I want to do is get it, right? I want to get the professional count. So I got that there. Now let's hook this up, right? Because we're basically setting it is what we want to do. But we need to do some logic like we've got up here. We need to say, hey, you know, for right now, what you want to do is you want to get that professional count. And I'm just going to do a plus. I want to add something to it. I'm just going to add 1. These are hard-coded values for now. They will be variables later because you'll be able to buy upgrades. And I want to take that value, and I now want to set professional count to be that value. Get the current value, add 1, set it again, right? That's what's happening. Now, that's all well and good, but I need to adjust my script kiddie count, okay? Just like we did up here. So we can do the same thing again, right? We're going to say, we're going to replicate what we did above. We're going to say get the script kiddie count, get the professional cost, which is, remember, 100 right now, right? Do a minus, so it's going to be, as you can see here, A minus B. So script kiddie count minus the professional cost. And then finally, we're going to want to set the script kiddie count to be that new value, right? So essentially that new value minus 100. Yes, the observant amongst you will say, but wait, Peter, you don't have anything in there for checking a minus value. You're quite right. I will get to that eventually. So this here, right, is going to do that part of it. Let's compile it. See if we've got any errors. We do indeed. I did not set a target. The target here, I did not hook up. Now I have. Compile. Run. So there's no logic right now to set this button to be on. Okay, that's the last part we need to do. So that's back over in our interface. And I hope that everybody's appreciating why you want to keep a lot of this stuff separate, a lot of this logic separate, because the logic for turning things on and off in the interface should not be happening in the game instance. It should only happen where it matters with all the other interface code, right? So remember this code here for this button? We're going to do the same thing again, right? So how are we going to do that? Well, I'm going to show you, right? So first thing we need to do is get a reference to our button, which is this one right here. Button hire professional. Nope, sorry. Yes, button hire professional. We want to get that. Oops, my bad. And what are we going to do with it? Well, we want to set the enables. So set en. It's not there. That's fine because set enabled is. Wait, I don't see it there either. Hang on. What did I not do? Oh, let me drag it out from here. Set enabled. Okay, what have I not done? I feel like I've missed something here. Oh, set is enabled. My bad. Goodness me. There you go. Wire it into the flow. Seems like a good idea to abstract it out. Yeah, it does, right? You know, Mono, whether it's an app, a game, or whatever, it's just I just applied the same logic. Interface only only cares about interface, right? The view only cares about the view. The view shouldn't interact with the model data. It should have something in between, which in this case, our view model, which is the game instance. And that's how that works. Yeah. The view should get values, but it should have no business changing them. Yeah, absolutely. That's how I look at it. All right. Let's go way. I know. Follow me here, folks. This is where zooming out's good, right? Zoom out. I'm going to drag from there. Try to drag from there way over here. And we wanted to, hold on, get the professional count. No, sorry, hold on. There, I got to zoom in. Target. There's newbie count. Yeah, I was right the first time. We want to get the professional count. Right there. But we also want, actually this is fine. That's fine. We need to go back over here and get script kiddie count. Why do we need them both? Well, remember the logic here, right? Kind of single responsibility approach. Yep, making me a better coder because of the restrictions, I reckon. Yes, and also, you know, when you're debugging issues, you just never want to see more code than you need. Because the other thing here is you'll start to recognize patterns which you can abstract out maybe into a library. Like, for example, a lot of the stuff I'm doing here probably would use in multiple games. So if I abstract it out, I can do it that way, right? So is my professional count greater than the cost? Actually, that's the wrong one. Hang on. Is the professional count more than the professional cost is what I should have got. Professional cost, right? So the cost we know is set to 100. So is the count more than 100? No. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm confusing myself. I got it backwards here. I must be getting tired. Is the script kiddie count more than the cost of script kiddies to hire a professional? That's what it should have been, right? How many script kiddies do I have? In this case, is it more than, we know it's 100. If set that in there as a Boolean. If it's true, it'll enable the button. If it's not true, guess what? Shouldn't enable the button. Let's run it. It hires, I've got more than 100. The button's activated. When I click this button now, professionals should go up. Script kiddies might go down. It did. It goes down by 100. Hey, we got it right. Same thing, get below 100, button gets disabled. We have now fully implemented our professionals button. Dang. Yeah, for me, I do logic in the UI in Android. Oh, yes. Now, I will say that I've noticed Android tends to be different, but I'm not good enough at Android. I'm not skilled at it. It certainly is not something I'm proficient at. So I don't know if that's the way the design pattern's supposed to work or not. I'll be honest. And you're like, if this is in the common view model, I can reuse this on iOS. Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, because I think doesn't Android, don't they favor the MVVM method? Am I wrong on that? You are more of an expert, certainly by far better than me at it. So please guide us. So there you go, folks. Right? Look, we get above 100. There it is. We've fully implemented our new feature here, right? Let's get this over 100. Watch the button come on again. And then we'll also check the game save that should be happening in the background. There you go. Hire that. Like boom. Let's give it 10 seconds for it to do the game save. Be right back in 10 minutes. Quick meeting. Alrighty, buddy. We'll be here. Quick, everybody. Hide from him. Don't tell. Let's all hide from Mono. Pretend like we're not here. All right. So let's stop this, right? 18 with 3 script kiddies. Let's actually run this a little longer just to make sure. All right. It should have saved the game data. There you go. It loaded it back. 3 and 18. Look at that. It's fully implemented, right? I know that seems like a lot of effort for this, but the thing with this is, again, it's very manageable and totally readable and easy to adjust and maintain in the future. But we got this working, folks, right? So let's get this down below 100. Sorry, below 10. And this button will disable. There you go. Let's get this one down below. And look, they've now both. That is exactly how it's supposed to work, right? How awesome is that? So, like I say, I have literally in this stream showed you, if you want to make an idle game in Unreal, I have pretty much showed you how to do this. And I didn't even charge you for it. I wouldn't charge you for it. Well, maybe I should. I don't know. Anyway, that's it, right? So probably next time around, I need to go away, do my next lot of research. My next lot of research is going to be around, all right, this obviously is working as a pattern. Let's make this code better, reusable, and not so much stuff on the screen to see, okay? That's going to be, especially this one, right? This thing right here can definitely be repeatable in a better way. Now that I've convinced myself that, hey, this stuff works, right? This is actually a pretty... I got this working. Because I'll be honest with you, I was never sure that I would understand Unreal Engine enough to be able to do this. But I'm thinking that I can, because I've pretty much done it. Then the next part after this is going to be the Firebase integration that I have been reading up on for player creation and high scoreboards, which is the part that's given me the biggest amount of trouble in Unity. And there was one other thing. Let me think for a second. Oh, I also need to deal with exceptionally large numbers, and that's something I need to look at in Unreal as well. Things like nonillions, quadrillions, and so on. All that kind of idle game stuff, right? So, yeah, I'm feeling pretty damn good about where I'm at with this compared to where I thoroughly expected to be. I'm actually, I'll be honest, I'm actually quite pleased with myself. So, yeah, that's where I'm at here with this. And we got a lot of other things to do. Obviously, the interface is ugly, but again, functional first, right? I have this running on my iPad, so I know it runs and everything is running as I expect it to. I will be honest, I found that setting things up for building to Android and building to iOS, here's a lot more of a pain in the butt with Unreal Engine compared to Unity. I will say that much for sure. I had to open up for example, I had to open up the Xcode project in Xcode to get the signing to work for me to even make the build to get it on my device, which despite my best efforts of setting it in Unreal Engine on a Mac, just wouldn't work. And for some reason, and I don't know if it's because I'm using the JetBrains toolkit, maybe, but when I go to tools and try to package for Android, it won't find it. Simple as that. It says, yeah, not gonna happen, buddy. And it won't, it says that there's a problem with it. So these are still all the things I gotta learn, but I'm confident if I can get over all of these, I can get over that too. And I'm sure you can as well, right? So, you know, folks, if you want to build stuff like this, just do it. Go for it. Don't be afraid. I mean, look, I'm you know, succeeding and failing here in public for you all to hopefully make you all feel better and realize, well, you know, if he can do it and he's an idiot, I can do it too. That's the plan. So that's what I'm hoping for, right? I'm hoping to inspire folks to go make those games. We need more awesome games. That's what we need. I'm going to stop this here. See, I'll show you. Look, Android. SDK's installed. Auto SDK. Android Studio is not installed correctly. Well, it is in the sense of it's installed and running when I've done it via the JetBrains toolkit. But for some reason, it does not seem to want to pick it up. I'm sure there's some kind of config hacking I got to do here. I don't know. But I'll work through it and I'll figure it out so you don't have to. Maybe I should turn some of this into YouTube videos. Let me know. I'd be more than happy to, like, you know, do some kind of YouTube course series of videos on how to make a UI only based game in Unreal Engine, because it took me a long time to get here, right? For the 2 weeks that or this is my second week, so a week and a half of working on this, believe me, there was a lot of trial and error and research before I got here. Let's see, what else? We do need, the next button I need to add is in the game itself, there's a higher max, which is higher than maximum amount that I can, right, for each of these values. Some extra logic in that calculation there, so I do need to work on that. That'll be a fun one as well. And also making this UI way more pleasing. I don't have on my on this machine here, I don't have Unity, and so I can't show you how it looks in, you know, running it in a device. But I can show you here. Give me 1 second. If you go to projecthack.net, and I'll pull this up here. Give me 1 second. I need to add a new source, and over here I need to add the Brave browser. Let's see if this works. Hold on, give me a second. Yeah, there you go, right? So here it is in the browser. This is the game, by the way. This is so for those of you who've not seen it, projecthack.net. This is the Unity version of what I'm building in Unreal Engine, right? You can read my blog posts. If you want to be a tester, you can go here. There is a form. I'd be more than happy to set you up on either Android or iOS platform. I do need your email because I need to add that to the beta system for Google and for Apple. And you're more than welcome to play it. But this is what we're building, is this game here that I made in Unity. We're building it in Unreal Engine. And you can see there's a bunch of features, right? And there's a whole bunch of features that I've not added yet because this is the single player version. But again, sign up to be a tester if you would like. All I ask is that if you find something, give me feedback, whether it's good, bad, whatever. Just, it's your opportunity to help steer this game. But this is what I'm going to be building in Unreal now that I've got it working in Unity. So there you go. All right. Yeah. And like I say, if you want to follow all the history of this, because you want to get into developing games or you're just curious and you'd like to know a bit more about it, hit the read the blog button. It's going to kick you over to my personal website where there's a history of blog posts here with all the fun stuff, right? All the details. And I will, of course, be blogging the Unreal version of this as well, right? So if you go here, for example, right, you're going to see, there's a link again, but you're going to see screencasts and podcasts where I talk about it as well. You can, while I'm here, I'll show you. If you go up to podcasts over on peterwitham.com, right, there's all of these ones here. The UI Buzz one is a good one for following for this game. I'll mention the others while I'm here. Compile Swift is all about Swift, which is normally what we do on this channel. And of course, there's the creators one for just general creation stuff as well. So I mentioned that because, I dive into a lot of these details, like the stuff that I'm giving you on the stream here. So yeah, that is what I got for you. Let me get rid of this. Okay, there you go. Don't need to see that. Let's go back to the Unreal Engine. Boom, there you go. All right, so yeah, I think that's going to pretty much wrap it for this one. Whew, went through a lot. Hopefully, like I say, if you want to get into Unreal Engine and do an idle or UI only based kind of game, or just build a UI for your game, I feel a lot of what I've given you here in this stream is gonna help you do that. And if you have questions, please go over to peterwitham.com. Would love to answer those for you. You can also go to compileswift.com. There's a link there for the Discord where there's a game channel on there for the development as well. I am always more than happy to answer any kind of questions that I can. Not going to guarantee that I know the answer, but I will certainly give it my best shot. Oh, I also noticed that Mono banned Google and Stack Overflow. He really didn't want me to solve any problems today. Yeah. All right. Let's take one last look. There's one thing I want to check here because I'm not sure I set this up right. Let me go to the graph because this one here, remember here where I've got the professional cost, the script kitty count? I have a value in here. Where is it? There it is, right there, right? Newbie count needs to be more than 10. Let me fix this right now, right? Because if I change that variable for the cost in the future, that's not going to work for me. And I've got that value now. So let me hook this up. Well, look, I saw it and I don't want to forget because I know I'll forget. So I'm going to click on this. Over here, I don't want 10. I need to get the script kitty cost. There it is. Which is 10, but it may not be 10 in the future, right? For any number of reasons. So if I plug that in there now, let's compile it. Let's check it. Let's hold me honest and let's make sure that I got this right and I'm not that crazy, right? So right now should be 10 still. Sorry, let me think. Yeah, it should be 10, right? But if I change it, bear with me. If I go over, I'm on the wrong one. I need my game, single player game. There it is. If I change the script kitty cost from 10 to say 1000, run it again. Oh, let's compile it, run it. This should be hooked in right. This should drop by 1000. No, well, look, see, I got a bug right here. Yeah, what did I not do? Single player game. Script kitty cost is 1000. let's take a little trick here, by the way. If you click on here, click on there, you can actually put in an extra little thing. So I'm just going to put in there a print. Oh, actually, you know what? Hang on, I don't even need to do that. Give me a second. Let me... Oh, I need it in the flow. Hang on. I'm sorry. I just want to see. I don't think it's pulling in the right value. Let's think about this. Single player game. Oh, I did compile it, right? Script kiddie cost. Oh, you know why? Because I'm foolish. It's pulling it from the... It's doing exactly what it should. It's loading the game save. And the game save has it set to 10. It's doing exactly what it should. Foolish Peter. See? Coded it so well that it worked. Uh-oh. Cocoa Type woke up, folks. I know. Here come the unicorns. But we do like the unicorns. Cocoa Type, have you recovered? How you doing, buddy? He's like, it's 11 o'clock at night and I'm awake? What's up with that? Yeah. You're in luck, Cocoa Type. You joined just as we recovered from your streams. All of your streams, your massive amount of streams. You are the stream king this week. Stream person, I guess, is the accurate description these days. Cocoa Type, you must know, buddy, because I was moving towards wrapping up. So yeah, those have been fine. Yeah, no, Cocoa Type, folks, has been stream crazy this week. And you're wondering to yourself, who's Cocoa Type? Let me tell you about that. Let me tell you about that. Find him right there. Right? Or, to put it another way, let's see if it's gonna do. Let me do it here in that window. No, it won't. Hang on. Let me do it in this one. There you go. That should give him a shout out. If I got it right, he'll get a shout out. If I got it wrong, he didn't see anything. I don't think he saw anything. Am I getting it wrong? Oh, I am getting it wrong. You know? Maybe I don't have... What did I not do here? Why did that not work? Or maybe it worked and I didn't see it. Maybe Cocoa Type's not real. That's also possible, right? Did I not do the shout out the right way? See, I did it in OBS. That may have been the mistake. All right, let's stop this anyway. Let's... give me a second. I got to think about this. Let me... I need to delete my saved game data. Give me 1 second here. I got to find it. I know it exists somewhere. Pretty sure I need to go over here. And yes, I know you can't see it. It must be incredibly boring for you all. Trust me, it's very exciting for me. I gotta find my Unreal projects. Where did I put them? Oh, wait. I think it's in a weird place. And I don't think I can access it here. Yeah, dang it. All right. Take my word for it. You're just going to have to trust me. I got to find my game save and delete it. But I got to remember. You can't just access some of this stuff on Windows. Dang you, Windows. Yeah. I can make it worse for me there. 30 a hit. All right. If anyone knows of any command or something in here where I can access the derived data, basically, for this via the Unreal Engine, please, 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 feel free to tell me because, well, I should say the Unreal Editor because I can't find it. I'm looking at the menu here. I don't think it shows it on the screen, but debug, no. Wait, project settings, is it in there? Let's check. Let's see. Save. Game screenshots. No, that's not what I want. Oh, I have to find it and delete it. But yeah, this is now hooked up correctly. So next time it will check the script. Make sure I plugged it back in correctly. Yeah, newbie count, script kiddie cost, script kiddie count, professional cost. Yeah, it's all hooked up right. Outstanding. All right. Okay, folks, I think I'm going to leave it there. Everything's working right now. I don't want to touch anything and break it because, dang it, it's actually working. I know. It's shocking to me too, but it actually works. All right, I will be back. I'm going to try and be back at the weekend, and we will be doing some Swift development in one of my apps. I know, right? We're going to get back to that. You know how it goes. Midweek stream is some kind of game development. Weekend, going to work on an app, and I will also try and pull out I will go grab the repo so we can help our friend Mono here take a look at our community game where he can have some fun with Sprite Kit. Yeah, I know. That's going to be fun. We definitely want to see that happen. Make sure you, again, check out Mono. Mono underscore NZ. Check him out. All right, folks. That is all I have got for you here today. I'm really tired, actually. This is exhausting. I feel like I went through every nuance of the code in this stream. And I'll also pull out the... I just get back and you leave. Mono, I was waiting for you to get back so I could leave. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I promised everybody that was here at the time that you weren't that they could have a cookie. Sorry, Mono. Hey, everybody, don't forget. Do not forget. Follow Mono because let me find the shortcut here. We want to get him to 50. He's so close. My sadness is immeasurable. Just like my happiness. Where's the repo to help CocoType with ML? Well, CocoType's going to make that repo for us, we hope. Oh, Lord, we hope. We wish him all the best with that. You should definitely check out his streams. He has been going through it this week, but you know what? He refuses to give up. I think he may have some English stubbornness in him. I'm not sure, but I think so. Check out Monotype's stream, everybody. And also check out Coco Types. Gonna have to watch the you should. Mono, you got to see it. He makes progress. Shh, no spoiler, but yeah, Monotype. Yeah, check out Monotype. Sneaking it in there. I've actually kicked the habit. Now I have to remind myself to intentionally do it to annoy you. That's the funny part. Well, it's not that funny. I know. Yeah. All right, folks. That is all I got for you. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I'm very tired. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you all hanging out in the chat room. Is it podcast? Oh, yes. Let's talk about that quickly. Coco Type, are we doing the podcast tomorrow? That's if he's still here. You just said it by accident. Well, actually, I said it intentionally. But I said it intentionally, but I wanted to make it sound like it was accidental to be authentic. All right, Monotype, we will figure out a time between ourselves, and we will post it in the Discord. How about that? How does that sound? Because I got a bunch of stuff going on tomorrow, but I want to make it happen. But I also have a bunch of stuff because some of us have to work, right, Mono? Unlike Coco Type. Yeah, just saying. Yeah. He's free all day tomorrow. Yes, but I'm not. But I need to look at my calendar because I'll be taking a lunch break from work to do the recording. Or we can do it in the evening. Coco Type has your evening looking. Not this late, he says. But it's much more fun when Mono's out there in the audience and he can throw random questions at us and we can just make up answers. Well, let's be honest. We make everything else up as we go. Evening is probably better. All right. I will try and catch your stream tomorrow. Actually, no. I'll just reach out to you in the Discord and we can set it up. And then I'll put it on my calendar for the stream. If anyone wants to come by and wonders what the hell we're talking about, we're going to do a live recording. It's a world first, everybody. It's a live recording of the Compile Swift podcast. And it's a world first with the legend, the nightmare. No legend, no nightmare. That is Coco Type. We're gonna interview him live. So we've got some questions, and you can throw more at us. Yeah, let me know the rest of the details. Coco Type, I'll reach out to you on Discord during the day tomorrow. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. All right, folks, that's all I got for you here. Keep an eye on the schedule because, like I say, we'll do that recording. And that's it, folks. Thank you, Mono. Thank you, everybody else in the chat room. Appreciate you all. As always, have a good rest of your evening, rest of your morning. And I will catch up with you all tomorrow. And we will have a lot of fun with both of us on camera. Which I just realized means I got to find my hub tonight before I go to bed. All right, folks. Take care of yourselves. See you later.